Hello, runners. This is Coach Bala here. Welcome to the beginning of week 2 of your training program. Super excited that all of us have started our training season 12 and successfully completed the first warm up week. I'm telling you, starting is a lot more difficult than maintaining. And the very fact that 1 week is over, you guys are still here. And I see that a lot of folks have begun to figure out how to connect this, especially the new runners, how to connect this with their ongoing life, the cadence of your life, how to make that include this training program. And I see a lot of examples of wonderful executions. In fact, I see a lot of enthusiasm from a lot of folks, and I'm asking them to control it, like I did in my previous welcome message. So, folks, I'm very, very, very proud of you all. 1 week in, and you guys are taking this with the right spirit, knowing that this is not something that's easy, so you have to respect it. And when you respect it, you listen to instructions, you try to execute the instructions with the best of your ability, which is what I'm seeing. Amazing, amazing. Congratulations. So, for this week's week to kickstart our week 2, I want to give you 2 pro tips and 1 running theory. Little snippets that I want you all to think about. Okay. So, first one is time for our first pro tip: summer running. In summer, the biggest stumbling block that all of us would face is the heat as well as the humidity. And what happens as a result is body starts operating at an elevated temperature. And because it's operating at an elevated temperature, the body loses a lot of sweat because that's our body's natural mechanism to cool the body. So it sweats a lot. And if it is dry, that sweat gets dried up quickly. If it's a humid environment, the sweat remains in your sort of skin. But the net effect, though, is you're losing a lot of water, a lot of salt, and your body is getting heated up. And when these 3 combinations happen, fundamentally your heart rate increases, your body's setup sort of starts working in an elevated stress environment, and as a result it gets more and more difficult to run, because when your heart rate starts going up, that means you're reaching a state of unequilibrium or inequilibrium. So as a result, your body struggles. So knowing this, the pro tip here is we need to do everything to cool down the body first. And that is where dumping comes into effect. Especially if it's too humid, then maybe dumping may not be good because you don't want too much of water in yourself. But in reality, what is dumping is you take a bottle of water, pour a good half a bottle of water on your head. The water should flow through your body and it should wet your back, your chest, your t-shirts, your head, and then you start running. And because it is hot and because you're also sort of running, this water evaporates quite fast. So it gets dried very quickly. But this act of drying, this evaporation of water essentially cool downs your body a lot. You will start feeling like a cucumber, cool as a cucumber when you do dumping. So think about that. If, of course, if humidity is too high, then evaporation will not happen. So you got to manage it. But if humidity is okay, especially if it's dry conditions, like say in Texas and other places, you must absolutely do dumping, and not just a couple of drops, a lot of water. Half a bottle of water at a given time is what I suggest. So dumping is a way to go. The second pro tip here is around this notion of controlled running without letting your heart rate go up. So when you're in summer training, when you're running, you need to ensure that your heart rate doesn't go up dramatically high. So one way of doing that is some runners just literally focus on their heart rate. And when they see a heart rate goes up to a certain threshold, they dramatically reduce the pace, or they even walk for some time. I really think that is a very good strategy during summer, where you have a threshold. You would know after this heart rate, it becomes difficult to sustain. So you would know when is that heart rate, and you can just pull it back in. And this is something I have been doing personally for a very long time. And if I'm able to manage my heart rate, my runs typically are not only good from a performance standpoint as well, it is one of the best. So these two pro tips at this point, I want you to start executing and see how that feels like. Now let us talk about one running theory about conversational pace running. Now, conversational pace running, as I had explained to you in the last episode, is about running at a pace where you are able to hold a conversation. That's really what a conversational pace running is all about. Now, really, what happens here when you think about it from a little bit of running theory standpoint, during conversational pace, the reason why you're able to hold the conversation is because your body, when you are running, is at an oxygen rich environment, or in other words, it's an aerobic state of running. So that means the demand for oxygen is slightly or a lot more less than the availability of oxygen in your body. When you are in that state of running, we call it is an aerobic state of running, or in other words, you are able to hold a conversation. Because when you are not panting for oxygen, that is when you are able to speak like what I'm speaking. But if you're panting for oxygen like that, then you won't be able to speak properly. So there is that connection between conversation and aerobic state of running. Now, the reason why we need to be running in aerobic state is when you're in aerobic state, your body is not in a state of shock. The body is in a state of training. Or in other words, when you run in aerobic state, your body is getting trained. The body is thinking, okay, I'm doing something a little at an elevated level. Let me do many things. Let me do my magic. Let me do that magic in motion. And further enhance our body's ability to cope with this enhanced requirement that is being placed on myself. That's what your body is thinking. And that is the training effect that we would like to hit. So the more time you spend in aerobic state, the more training that is happening for your body, which is what our training program is all about. Our training program is about getting the training effect. It is not about running as fast as you can and just like, maybe get your best record for the fastest 1 mile you've run in life. That's really not what our program is all about. So the more you are in aerobic state, the better is the training. And the best way to think about whether you're in aerobic state or not is conversational pace run. That's really what I would call it. Then finally, in this weekend's message, I want to include this powerful number called 21. Now, there is this, I'm sure you can go to the net and figure it out. If you want to imbibe any new habit, especially for new runners here, any new habit, you need to do that for 21 hours. In fact, there are two numbers that I really enjoy. One is this 21. I've seen that play out again and again in my life and in everybody else's life as well as a coach. And the other number is the idea of, I think it is 10,000. That is, if you want to be world class in anything, just do the same thing for 10,000 hours, it seems. I don't know, I haven't done that yet, but let's post the 10,000 hours later on. Let's not worry about world class. Let's just be the best form of ourselves for now, which is the 21 days is going to motivate that for you. That means you all have started something new runners. Now, return runners, you're also coming back from a break from past season. So you're also starting scratch. You shouldn't think that, oh, I know it all. It's a humility. Running teaches you humility, isn't it? So our goal is making sure, forget about at the end of the season, forget about your race day, forget about your requirements and goals and all that. Your goal is to make sure that you are able to execute without a single miss the first 3 weeks of the training program, that is the 21 days. 2 weeks of warm-up, 1 week of the first regular season training without missing anything. That means no strength miss, no run miss, no weekend run miss. There is a rest day in between. No, don't doing anything. Rest day is also a training day. If there is a cross training day, doing some cross training, everything, check mark on everything for 3 weeks. You do that, something incredible will happen with you, which is a habit gets formed. Once a positive habit gets formed, that becomes the catalyst for the next 15 weeks of this training. So our goal is to pass this first 21-day test with flying colors, of which you guys have done already 7 days. For some of you who have not yet started, or some things happen in life, sickness, travel, all that, it's fine. Start your 21-day today. Goal is break your goals into that small 21-day piece. Just focus on that. Get 21 check marks continuous. You've done it, done it, done it, done it, done it. And then look back, stand in front of the mirror and see where I am. I guarantee you there is something has changed. The inertia for you to get up in the morning or in the evening to put on the shoes will be reduced dramatically. When you do the run, you will begin to enjoy. You will begin to look for tomorrow's final search, what is coming up. You will begin to look forward to having communications with your coach. All of those things will happen in 21 days. And when you get into that zone, we are ready to go on to the next step of this journey of magic in motion. Congratulations, guys. Let us hit the second week with the same level of intensity and motivation. Can we? Take care. Bye-bye.